Lesson 4-10, Translations and Parallel Lines. The big idea is by adding matrices, translation images of figures in the plane can be described. If you remember from previous lessons, we did size change where you multiplied by some matrix that had the same number here and here, and then it increased or made your image smaller. Then we had size change, or not size change, but scale change that changed our x's and our y's by some number, okay, and left zeros here. And then we had rotations, okay, and then now we're going to talk about translations, which is probably the easiest of all of them. But in a translation, you're going to move your x-coordinate so many units to the left or right, and move it so many units up or down. Okay? And we're going to take a look at that in our next example here. Translations. Consider the triangle ABC and its image, triangle A prime, B prime, C prime at the left below. Matrices M and M prime represent the vertices of these triangles are given at the right below. So here are my vertices for M and M prime, okay? So if you notice here, okay, 1, 3 is B, or 1, 2 is B, okay? So this is my M, this is my M prime, okay? But let's go through this activity down here. It says use the matrices M and M prime above. Calculate M prime minus M. So they want us to take M prime, which is 5, 5, 7, 1, 5, 5, and subtract it by M. And so that should be very easy because we should get out 4, 4, 4. Okay, 5 minus 1 is 4, 5 minus 1 is 4, 7 minus 3 is 4. 1 minus a minus 2, minus a minus is a plus, so it gives me 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. Okay? So when we subtracted those, we got out that matrix. Step 2 says, what does the first row of D represent? Well, the first row of D represents the difference in our x values. Or what we could say are x coordinates. What does the second row represent? Well, it represents the difference in our y coordinates. Sorry, this is step 2, this is step 3. Step 4 says calculate D plus M. What does D plus M represent? Okay, well, this was D, and this was M. So if I add these together, 4 plus 1 is 5. It gives me out M prime, right? So when I do that, it means that my matrix got shifted 4 units to the right, right? 1 plus 4 is 5, right? Okay. 4 units to the right and 3 units up. This says x got moved 4 units to the right, 3 units up. So step 5 says complete this sentence. If a point x comma y is any point in the pre-image, then its image is, all I have to do is take every single x value and add 4 to it, and take every y value and add 3 to it. Pretty simple, right? Should have done translations or transformations a long time ago. The transformation in the activity is an example of a translation, or what we can also call a slide. We're sliding something to a different spot. It did not change its size or anything. It just moved from point to point. Used oftentimes in computers and your video games, for instance. Definition of a translation. The translation that maps x and y onto x plus h and y plus k is a translation of h units horizontally and k units vertically, and is denoted by the transformation t, or the translation t, h comma k. So here's the mapping notation, which Mr. Johnson hates to use, but the book uses it, so we got to know it. I like to use this function notation. Okay? It says in the figure on the previous page, triangle A prime, B prime, C prime is the image of triangle ABC under the translation 4, 3. You got moved 4 units to the right. You got moved 3 units up. Okay? Example 1 says a quadrilateral has vertices Q, U, A, and D. Find its image under translation -8, 2. So what this means is I'm going to, since we are adding, okay, if I am adding two things together, what happens is I'm going to make my coordinate matrix 1, 1, 6, 2, 8, 4, and 5, 5. Since I'm making a coordinate matrix, what I'm adding to this translation is I got to have the same size. So this is a 2 by 4, so this also has to be a 2 by 4. Okay? Well, I'm moving it 8 units to the left, so -8 goes across here, and how many do I need? Well, I need 4 of them. And I'm moving every y value 2 units up, so I need 2 on the bottom. So when I add these things together, I'm still going to end up with a 2 by 4 matrix, okay, of the same size. So 1 plus a -8 is a -7. 6 plus a -8 gives me a -2. 8 plus a -8 gives me 0. 5 plus a -8 gives me a -3. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 2 is 6. 5 plus 2 is 7. And now I have my Q prime, U prime, A prime, and D prime points that I could plot on my graph if I wanted to. Okay? Very simple. Yes, adding is simple. Properties of translation images. The QY illustrates a special case of the following more general result. Parallel lines and translations theorem. Under a translation, a pre-image line is parallel to its image. Okay, so what's that saying is, if I have a line and I translate it to a different image, these things are going to be parallel. Okay? Under a translation, a pre-image line is parallel to its image. So this line that gets shifted over maybe 3 spaces, is going to have, or is going to be, parallel to its other line. Why? Because it still has the same slope, it just got moved in a different direction. Example 2 says, find the image of the line with the equation y equals 3x minus 5 under the translation t of 2, -1. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw points into this. Okay? I'm going to get some points so I know what I can translate. Okay? So if I put in 0, I get out a negative 5. If I put in 1, I'm going to get out a negative 2. If I put in 2, I'm going to get out 1. So now I have 3 points. 0, negative 5, 1, negative 2, and 2, 1. I am translating this 2 units to the right, 1 unit down. So, find the image of the line with the equation y equals 3x minus 5 under the translation. So, my new image, 0 plus 2 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 2 is 4. Negative 5 minus 1 is a negative 6. Negative 2 minus 1 is a negative 3. And 1 minus 1 is 0. Hope I did that right. Looks like it. Now, if I were to graph these points, you would see, and we can go ahead and do that, you'll be able to see that we'll have 2 lines that are parallel. So 0, negative 5, and it might not turn out real pretty considering I'm doing it by hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5. So 1, negative 2, and 2, comma 1. So there's my first line. And let's see if this works out. 2, negative 6. 2, negative 6. Negative 6 should be about right here. 3, negative 3. There's 3. Here's negative 3. And 4, 0. Oh, it's going to squeak out there. And as you can see, that's pretty close to being parallel, even though I kind of have a little slight hitch in my giddy up there. But that all worked out. That's all I have for you today. Translation's very easy. Maybe that's why they saved it for the end. Thank you very much. We'll see you tomorrow.